What I have noticed about the healthcare system, the food that we eat, the things that we watch on the YouTube, it all is designed to poison our minds, literally. You know, have you guys noticed that the food that we eat, it doesn't really taste the same as it did 10 years ago? Have you tried Taco Bell lately? Have you tried like Jack in the Box or Carl's Jr. or McDonald's? Does it taste the same to you, or does it taste more chemical? It tastes more like plastic. It makes you go to the bathroom. It makes you throw up. It doesn't taste as good as it used to be, and it's not fulfilling. And I think this also plays a part in our depression, our thought patterns, what we believe we can and can't do. Then you got to worry about what you see through the internet, political, you got the right versus the left, and that's just the Illuminati, and that's just the powers that be getting the proletariat to fight amongst each other and not focus and actually attack the ones that are at top. Because the people at the top of the world, they control both wings of the bird. But they don't want everyday regular people to even notice this. They want everyday regular people to be totally isolated, totally devastated, totally economically, spiritually, and psychologically manipulated. We we really need to come to terms with this reality. I know guys in our position, we already know what this world's about. We already know this world is full of crap. It doesn't mean anything really. And we're just trying to just pass by like a damn leaf on the surface of the ocean in a storm, right? But I just can't I just can't help but think that we're purposely being poisoned with the food that we ingest and the things that we put inside of our minds, and then we're being gaslit saying that it's our fault. It's not my fault that a multi-billion dollar industry like McDonald's or whatever, a multi-billion dollar corporation, and all these other, corporations that come and work together, they all belong to the same secret societies. They go to Epstein's Island. Epstein's Island is just the thing that we know about. You don't think they have an underground Epstein's Island? Hell, they could have an Epstein's Island on the moon and nobody would know. How would you know? You wouldn't know because you wake up every day, you go to your 9 to 5, you pay bills. You don't know what goes on outside of that, right? But when you have all these manipulative forces that are working against you, that are working so you can have your mind broken, you can have your time taken, you can have your energy harvested and loosed, it makes you wonder, man, why is this system built on attacking us? We get attacked all day long. We get attacked in our mind. I can't even have a peace of mind, bro. That's why I make these videos, bro. If I didn't make these videos, bro, I probably would snap. This is my only way of actually just putting my thoughts inside my head and making them, audio so I can hear them or whatever. And so people can listen. And if they feel like they agree, they can know that they're not crazy. You're not crazy, that you see the world for what it really is. You're not lazy because people say that, oh, you didn't put your hard work in. It's like, these people, what are these people talking about? How can somebody tell you how much hard work you put in and they don't know the things you've been through? They don't know all your obstacles. They watch a few YouTube videos about you and think they know you. Are you serious? You don't even know people who you watch. Like, there's people that are actors that you've been watching these actors for 20 years. And there's things about their life that's private that they've never told the public that you don't know about. People don't, you know what I mean? Like, people don't really think critically or analyze situations clearly and concisely and precisely nowadays. People just like, one thing about you have to know about this world is when people don't like you, they're just going to believe whatever negative thing about you anyway, because they don't like you. So they're just going to keep on feeling that certain way about you, right? But when you have all these elements that are working against you, you can't help but think that this world is designed to really devour us. It's like living in this world is like living inside the belly of the beast, living inside the belly of a monster, living inside a city that's about to get conquered. In the ancient world, how they used to siege cities. You see the enemy army marching and approaching, but before that, you see the dust kick up. Then you see the enemy reconnaissance, the enemy cavalry may come, then they take a look at the city. Then the army marches up. They may circle the city, or they may put their forces right in front of the city gates. They may send some envoys to say, here's the conditions of surrender and all that, and the city rejects it. And then now the real siege begins, because siege warfare is absolutely terrible. If you guys look into that or read into that, man, it's it's really disgusting how deep it gets. Once enemy soldiers get into that city, there's no such thing as a civilian. Everybody's fair game, right? That's brutal, but it's just the reality. But I imagine us being inside that city that's being taken by evil forces. And we look around us and people are panicking, people are depressed, people are stressed, the food's running out, time's running out, your mind's running out, your soul's running out, everything's just running out. And that's one thing that I can't understand is how can a God that is supposed to be infinite in all this make finite beings, make beings that there's a limited amount of resources? Why would a God sit on his throne and watch people in powerful positions, manipulate us, lie to us, poison us through the food system, poison us through the healthcare system, poison us through all these different types of systems and just sit by and do nothing? My grandmother, my aunt, and my uncle, I believe that they were neutralized by the healthcare system. I truly believe that because there were certain things that they were supposed to do while my family members were in critical condition and they didn't do it. They ignored it or they gave, more medicine than what was allotted. And you can't tell me that you're a doctor. How do you become a doctor and have all these medical degrees and you're telling me you don't know the right dosage to give somebody? You're gonna give somebody an overdosage? You're not taking your job seriously? Or do you see somebody's skin color configuration and you see that they're in the situation of obliteration is now it's time for their neutralization. And you do it silently and you hide behind people saying, well, it's not based on race, it's not based on this. There's other things into it. Yeah. Just like when you see that Pepe the Frog, you don't know what that means. Come on. I know a dog whistle, man. I've been around for 35 years, man. You'd think I'm stupid. You know what I mean? One of the people that in history that I kind of like respect is the Führer, right? I've read Mein Kampf. How many people even know what I'm talking about? But those are already in that, they already know what it is. The great noticing. Do you know what the great noticing is? Let me break it down for you. The great noticing is noticing that a certain element, a certain shekel, I got to speak in code, a certain shekel controls everything. They control the military industrial complex, they control the healthcare system, and they control the policing, they control everything, the lights, There's a reason why you got to pay your electric bill every month because Nikola Tesla rediscovered that there's a way that we can all have free electricity. We can have light bulbs that can last 1,000 years or light bulbs that can last a few hundred years. Did you know that? Do you know there's some lighthouses that have light bulbs that are like 300, 400 years old? Google what I'm saying if you don't believe me, damn it. If I ever say something that you're like, oh, that don't sound right, you Google it and you check me. Yeah? Because I know my facts. I put in the effort. I done the reading and study. When I was in need, all I did was read a lot of times, Yeah? But the great noticing is noticing that there's a certain pattern in life. Certain people get, or certain elements, they are inside different types of countries and different types of places. And over the years, over thousands of years, these countries seem to, how can I say this in a kind way? They seem to release these people out of their country, because they found the pattern. And after World War I, you had the Germans that said, hey, these people are the reason why Germany lost World War I. Germany was backstabbed. They say that. And they make you believe that the Führer was the only one that had a great noticing. No, he wasn't the only one. Right? There's many people that notice that these people or these elements run the world, and they run the world in the shadows. They run the world and they do their battles in the shadows. They don't like to be put on blast. How this connects to everything is because they control everything. They control the healthcare system, and the gods and the beings they worship are gods and beings that require sacrifice from beings like us. Yeah. Humans, right? So this whole system is screwed is what I'm saying. This whole system, you have an evil, wicked, sadistic God that lost its mind. You have people that believe they're the Chosenites. You got Bible dupes. You got all these people that just don't understand the world that they're in. They believe that, if we pray hard enough, if we believe hard enough, if we do this hard enough, things are just going to magically change like ice rain inside of your veins. It's not going to happen. This world was created to torment us and to torture us. It wasn't created for us to be happy. And how are we supposed to go to our 9 to 5 jobs every day, work, go hard, get all this money, and then you get sick, and then you go to the hospital? You're not sure whether the hospital is trying to help you or trying to neutralize you. And especially if you look a certain way, because let's be real. When you have like heart surgery or something like that, when you have like a major illness, your life is in the hands of those people. It's not in the hands of some magical God, because the magical God already probably set it up in a way so he can get as much loose from you as possible. So that God already know you're about to pass away, but he's going to make it even horrific. He's going to put a doctor that doesn't like, that does not like people of your skin color configuration. He's going to put that doctor ahead of you just so that doctor can torment you before you actually pass away. This happens, bruh. This happens. I remember when I think the last time I see my auntie before she passed away, as we were leaving the hospital, there was this black lady or whatever, and she was pretty much yelling, help me, it hurts, somebody come help me. And I kid you not, I seen the nurses and I looked at their face, and the face on these nurses, like they heard her. Her door was open, they heard her, And I remember I was like, no one's going to help her. And they kind of just, they kind of looked up a little bit, and then, they kind of looked down, and there was about 7 of them, right? And I looked in their face and their eyes, and they all knew what they were doing was guilt. Like they all knew what they were doing was wrong. They had the look of guilt in their face, guilt in their eyes. They knew what they were doing was wrong. And I feel bad because maybe I should have put up a bigger stink, but I didn't want to get involved, right? I was always going through enough things myself. I didn't want to try to just like, blah, blah, blah. I know what could have happened, but I know for a fact that lady was like crying and screaming for help, and the nurses didn't help that lady. And when I walked out that hospital, I had a bad feeling about my own auntie. And then so when my auntie passed away, naturally, I had the natural inclination to think, to put 2 and 2 together and think they got rid of her because, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm tired of that. Let me be real for a second. Look. I noticed that the people that had my skin color configuration weren't receiving the adequate medical attention as everybody else. I noticed that because I seen somebody of different skin color proportions, and they were getting adamant and accurate treatment. So that's why I hope, I never want to go to a hospital, Like I want to pass away on the battlefield, right? That's what I feel like, because I just can't imagine my body shutting down. I can feel myself, I can feel like the dying process or the passing away process. And I got people who are supposed to care about my health who are just trying to make my last moments on earth as miserable as possible because they have an issue with how I look like. You know how scary that is to be to be a person of my skin color configuration? Do you know how scary that is to be like blackballed by society just because of your skin color? Like I know this is like a lot of, and you know what? There's other guys that go through this as well. When you're just a person that's not, attractive, the world has it out for you. But for me, let's be real. Can you be real for a second? When you have my skin color configuration, people already have it out for you, right? Are some reasons legitimate? Yes. Are some reasons not? No. Right? Let's just be real. I see little Trey with that AK, you know what I mean, that just got out of prison yesterday, and he's already causing mayhem. He got 5 baby mamas, and I understand that. But don't treat me like that because you see that person like that. I'm a totally different individual. I told you I've read Mein Kampf 3 times. What black man read Mein Kampf? Now, this system works because people are ignorant. People don't care about this. People don't care about spirituality. I know spirituality seems weird and like, yeah, whatever. I don't believe in this. I get it. But the people that pay you your paycheck in your bank, they believe that there's entities that they talk to that they're able to get power from to rule over you. There's a reason why they're billionaires and they're in positions of power while we're not. There's a reason why they hide books and texts. There's a reason why the Library of Alexander was burned down to the ground multiple times. All that human knowledge and ingenuity lost. You know how much knowledge was hidden in the Library of Alexandria? Huh? And the city of Alexandria was founded by Alexander the Great, one of the greatest men in history, a military god, a military commander, a man that didn't get kicked down and destroyed by life, and a man that was probably utilized by the demiurge to cause more suffering and destruction. Let's be real. The same with Julius Caesar, the same with Emperor Caligula, Emperor Commodus, Emperor Tiberius, the same with them, right? All these great men that we see throughout history, they all played their roles. They all played their parts. They all had a hand in bringing in the integration and fomentation of the new world order. We live in a world that thrives on lies. We live in a world that doesn't care about the truth. We live in a world that will gaslight you. People will say it's your fault for things that were outside of your control. In reality, what control do we really have? If I don't have the same control as the God who created the sun, the moon, and all this crap, who created the hell, who created Abaddon, who created Archangel Gabriel or Archangel Michael, or really Archons, what they are, the Archons. If I don't have the power to create my own, with just my thoughts like this God can do it, then how do I have any power at all? That's like saying you have all this power in a prison. And then some people say that's just the way it is. That's just how life is. The life is not all bad. That's the normies. Life is not all bad. You're saying that while you're in a prison. Do you know in prison you can have marijuana in prison, right? You can have other types of substances in prison. You can have snacks in prison. I think it's the commissary. You can have the commissary in prison. You can get chips and snacks in prison, right? But you're in a prison. You can't escape, and that's how this world is. Yeah, you can go to the beach. Yeah, you can get a cute girl if you're lucky, if you're an attractive. Yeah, you can get your favorite ice cream. You can get your favorite Xbox game. You can have things in life that are quote unquote nice and make you feel good, but in reality, you're still trapped in a prison. The bars are invisible, but the bars are not invisible at the same time. You don't believe me? Let me tell you something. How do you think right now you're going to get $100 million without the help of the Illuminati, without the help of somebody with the Sheikhs? Huh? You think you're going to develop some app or some coding and then get $100 million magically? Do you not know once you get $10,000 in your bank account, it automatically notifies the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they look and see how you got that 10 grand? That's for 10 grand. And they check. And every time you get to a higher tax bracket, you got to pay the taxes of that bracket. So if you make 100 grand, you got to pay taxes on 100 grand. You make $1 million, you got to pay taxes on $1 million. But for some odd reason, the people with the shekels, the people with the resources, when they make billions and trillions of dollars, they pay no taxes. Now, if that's not a master and a servant relationship, I don't know what is. We live in a world that wants us to be servants and wants us to serve. It doesn't give us what we deserve. We deserve happiness. We deserve things in our life that other people got so easily. You deserve to have a girlfriend in your life. You deserve to have peace of mind. You deserve it. And yet the world tells you you don't deserve it. You deserve to suffer some more. And they wonder why people crash out. Can you imagine 30 million? How many people in the United States? What, 500 million people in the United States? How many people live out here? Imagine if 30 million men in our position just teamed up, right? That's never going to happen because people got too many divisions, and the biggest division is skin color configuration. Let's just be real, and then it's language and all that other stuff. But let's just be real, there is a hierarchy based on skin color configuration, and the lighter the pigmentation, the more people give you the respect and dignity of a human, and But imagine having a force like that, or imagine having that many men that just decide one day to just like they have a mental health crisis. That's another thing in this world. They give you crappy food, crappy medical health care. They work you to the bone. And then when you finally go, try to get some food, try to get the healthy options. The healthy options are so expensive. They try to price you out, and a brand that, I used to get a lot. It's called Great Value. You get the Great Value fries, you get the Great Value soda, you get the Great Value. But then when I looked into Great Value, they put so many different cancer-causing chemicals in it. I just had to stop, right? And I'm a person on freaking, I think I got my last, 2 months of EBT because now they have these work requirements, and it's just like, oh my God, how do you expect somebody who's homeless that doesn't have anything just magically find a job, instantaneously? This world is just crap. They don't care about people who are unfortunate, people that suffer, people that go through things. Like, you don't know the mind of somebody that's going through something. You can't judge somebody and think you know what they're going through. You ain't never lived a day in their damn shoes. You don't know what that person is going through in their mind. You want to pick at them and prod at them. You want to act like, that you're trying to be kind to this person. You're trying to be nice to this person. You're trying to offer advice to this person. You're just gaslighted and talking crap. Because some people, not everybody goes through the same situations the same. Some person may like have his girlfriend break up with him, and he just say, "Hey, forget it. I got some more girls. I ain't tripping." Somebody else is gonna, uh, engage in drastic actions. You know what I mean? Which may lead to prison time, and you don't want that, right? You want to have a peaceful and tranquil life, but the problem is this world doesn't reward peace and tranquility. This world rewards volatility. This world rewards um, destabilization and unstable environments. You know, the true stabilization of the soul comes with peace, and the true innovation of the soul is art, the ability to create. I always preach this, man. Create. I don't care if you create a look, make a YouTube channel. You don't gotta freaking like you know you ain't gotta try to be PewDiePie or nothing like that. Just take out your phone and start recording your thoughts. You know, who cares what you sound like? Who cares if you don't? Who gives a damn? Just let your soul rip. Let your soul free. I'm tired of being held back in this life. I feel like, in Resident Evil, the tyrants, they have things on them called the limiter. And whenever the tyrants break their limiter, that's when they start turning that. Like when you play like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, the remakes or whatever, even the old ones. But the tyrants are biological weapons developed by Umbrella, right? And these biological weapons, they're hunting the Star team members and they're doing other Umbrella special operations, and these things have a thing on them called the limiter, because when the limiter goes off, they become unstoppable and powerful. I feel like the demiurge on certain people has a limiter on us, an invisible limiter. I was listening to some Terrence McKenna. He was talking about how, like, he was talking to some shaman somewhere in the Amazon rainforest, and he was talking about how the shaman said when they were, getting high off ayahuasca and other substances, that he saw like these beings that looked like jellyfish or whatever that were in the room, and they had like these tendrils in everybody in there, and they were kind of like controlling the emotions of the people there. And then when it seen them, kind of like zapped them, and I'm like, what the hell? Like if that's true, and the guy wasn't just high talking out of his behind, if that's even somewhat true, that means we got invisible entities that are in our vicinity that are basically our enemies and basically manipulating our emotions and manipulating our thoughts, manipulating our progress, manipulating our motivation, manipulating our lives. There's a reason why some of us, man, we go through so much in this world, bro. You gotta wake up every single freaking morning, go to a 9 to 5 that you really do not want to go to, but you have to, because if you don't, you're gonna be out there on the streets with me, with nothing in your hands. And then people trying to talk about you, but these same people that talk about you, they ever meet you in real life, you a rip up an ass. Then they'll be the ones looking stupid, but they hide behind their computer screens like the cowards they are. Or they talk behind your back at your job like the cowards they are, never come in your face. And if they do come in your face, they always have plausible deniability like the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm tired of plausible deniability. I'm tired of people not taking the responsibility of actually talking crap about somebody and face it. If you're going to talk about somebody, if you're going to try to mock somebody, you're going to try to attack somebody, then you at least have the balls to stand up and say you did it. If you're going to dock somebody, say you did it. You had the balls to do it, right? But you don't have the balls to stand up for it. You were such a coward to dock somebody who wasn't even messing with you, but now you want to hide and say you didn't do it. You are a coward. I think you got to worry about people within your own family. You got to worry about the world out there, and the world is getting more merciless. Look, bro, I was born in 1991, 50 years after the battle of Stalingrad. I think when did Stalingrad start? When 1940, 1941, I think 41, Stalingrad really got popping. I was born exactly 50 years after the Battle of Stalingrad, or when Stalingrad got started. 50 years. That's 50 years when the Führer was in fear, when the Führer was in power and control. I would come 50 years later after the Führer. Huh? Have you guys ever watched those World War II speeches about the Führer? And they take it into like that one guy. I think he deleted his channel because YouTube. You already know YouTube attacked that channel because let's just say that person was saying some real ish when it comes to a certain element of shekels, because these shekel holders, look at what they're doing now. They're starting random wars, overseas that the United States can't afford. We don't even have the infrastructure to support people here. Yeah, you want to support a random war, but this is all controlled. There's a hidden element of beings that control all this. It's called organized chaos. It looks like chaos on the outside, but if you're an Illuminati member and you're inside of a secret Area 51 sub lab or some secret sensitive installation on the ground, you know, then you're going to meet powerful beings and powerful people that the public is ignorant about. The public doesn't know half the things that go on in secret or in classified bases and classified spaces. People still think there's no such thing as no Bigfoot. There's no such thing as Mothman. There's no such thing as that. I never seen it. Have you stayed in the woods? You know what I mean? Have you actually lived in the woods? Have you ever thought that these beings can travel between dimensions and portals, or they live underground? Have you ever thought that these beings know that you're trying to find them and they don't want to be seen? They don't want to be found? Have you heard the ancient and Native American stories from around the world talking about how they battle giants, how they battle monsters, how they battle creatures of the night that you will see in Devil May Cry or Doom 3? Have you talked to these people? Have you ever had a supernatural experience yourself? Then don't you dare tell me what's real or what's not when I've had experiences myself and people out there seen it. But where's the evidence? How do you not know that people have had evidence and they took it away? You know, people had evidence of giants, right? Did you know that? Did you know that there's caves in California where there's giant bones? Did you know that? Did you? Do you know what Yosemite means in Native American tongue? I'll let you do your homework and figure that out. Type in, what does Yosemite mean? Yeah, and there you go. Right? There's a reason why they show you ghosts, monsters, and demons and dragons and say it's fantasy. Well, what if what they're showing you is actually reality, but it's something that's hidden? It's something that you just can't look in the sky and see a giant dragon walking around. What if they have some type of secret truce going on? What if they have some secret war going on? What if there's portals and things these entities can use? Towards the end of World War II, there was rumors of Germany having some type of super weapon. And nobody knew what that super weapon was. There was just rumors and theories. And then they said that Germans went to New Swabia in Antarctica. Now, Antarctica is a mysterious place, right? So what I'm saying is this, man. There's a lot of mysteries and secrets. There's a lot of people that are powerful and wealthy that know that the common public is too ignorant. You think the schooling system is designed to educate you? It's designed to indoctrinate you to be a wage slave, to work for somebody else your entire life and never gain true financial independence and wealth, to never gain financial acuity, financial retention, or financial ascension. Okay? The world is not designed for you to be happy. It's designed for you to be miserable, depressed, and stressed 24/7. How can we say this is a good world? How can we say this is a good God when you're constantly under pain? Even as I get older now, back problems, you know what I mean? And it's like, what the hell? How did this random pain come out of nowhere, I've never had no random pains and crap like that. Just because I'm stressed, man. I'm under, you have no idea how much stress I'm under, right? I got to deal with my emotional demons, my psychological demons. I got to deal with, people who do not like me, people who are trying to make my life harder. I got to deal with the ramifications of being doxxed online. You know what I mean? I got to deal, and people, I got to deal with a lot. I got to deal with my skin color configuration and things that come with that. I got to deal with, not having a girl in my life. I got to deal with, having confidence and self-esteem issues and mental issues. It's not good for a grown man to not have self-esteem in himself. But how can you have self-esteem where every time you go to work, you're getting yelled at by your boss and you're getting talked about by your coworkers? How can you develop self-esteem? The only way you can develop self-esteem is getting, some millions and millions of dollars. That will give you your self-esteem and independence. There's no way a man can gain self-esteem while bowing down to another man. Right? We're not in the military where it's crucial that you have to follow the chain of command, because the chain of command, it can lead, disobeying the chain of command can lead to the total disintegration of the unit, and for the enemy unit to win the battle. So you have to follow command. But the command is not always right. Command is not always right. Just look at World War I and what those German machine guns did to British troops. Type in World War I, German machine guns and British troops. You'll see how many British people lost their lives in World War I in that terrible war. And One thing I noticed is that Europe and all the places around the world, even Japan, that people say Japan's a peaceful place now, but do you know the history of Japan? Japan is so peaceful. Those people are so polite. Like, do you know the history? Do you know the history of Japan? The history of China? Did you know that? Did you know that these people were warned for hundreds of years? You know what I mean? And it's only recently they decided to come together or whatever. You know what I mean? Because of the growing expansion of the West. Remember, Japan was kind of cut off for the world for a long time. The same with China. China kind of cut themselves off from the Western world until the Western world brought the opium because they wanted access to China's, resources. It was the Western world who brought opium to China and started the Opium Wars. The Chinese emperor said, I don't want that opium. I don't want my people taking that stuff. And the Westerners brought it anyway because they understand that this world is wicked, evil, and deceitful, and the people that and the tactics that you utilize that are just evil like this God is going to give you a higher chance of survivability and viability in this world. Tranquility is not gained upon peace and tranquility. Tranquility is only gained upon war. You see, as they say, what they say, good times create hard. No. Hard times create. What's that damn saying? Hard times create great men, and good times create weak men, or something. That's a quote like that. Basically saying when things are all good, men get soft. Society gets soft. But when things get hard, you're going to be forced to be, Leonidas, a Spartan soldier, a Spartan king, fighting off Xerxes and his mighty Persian army of 100,000 or 500,000 men on the battlefield, and getting remembered and etched into the eons of history. I truly believe I was born in the wrong dimension, in the wrong time. In my heart of hearts, I feel like I'm a warrior. You know what I mean? That's what I truly feel like. I don't like bound down to a system of suppression, a system of oppression, a system that gives no blessing, a system that causes you to have so much stress and depression. I don't like being forced to do things that I don't want. That's like, isn't that a harlot for the most part? That's a harlot. That's like, I don't want to be a harlot, I want to be able to have true independence and true financial freedom, But the problem with this world is it doesn't reward talented people. It rewards people that are connected, people that are attractive, people that have certain advantages and certain advantageous, positions and attributes and things of that nature. And they said the world rewards hard work. If that's the case, some of the poorest people are some of the hardest workers, but get nothing in the end. Meanwhile, somebody who owns assets, they own assets, they can sit on their arse all day and make millions of dollars. Look at the top streamers, you know, like just that's all I gotta say is like take a look at some of these top streamers. They be making $50,000 a month, and some even more. Can you imagine making 50 grand every month for playing video games? And that's not one of the sweetest jobs you can ever have. You know what I mean, right? But people like us, we gotta go to Amazon. We got to go to the warehouse. We got to go to McDonald's. We got to go to Jack and Walls. We got to go to these places that are just toxic farms of negative energetic manifestation on frequency. All I wanted to do was be a rap star and be rich and famous and influential like Kendrick Lamar.